a new challenge.
It's nearly everyone's favourite holiday, Halloween, so let's take a look at the modern remake of spooky PS1 favourite Medievil, exclusive for the PlayStation 4. Let's start with some cold, hard, rigor mortis ridden facts. The game came out in October 2019 and is a single player hack and slash adventure, and is one of the new remasters that made their way to the PS4 with the likes of Crash Bandicoot, Spyro and Carmageddon. Yeah, you didn't know about that one, did you? You play as Sir Daniel Fortescue, a knight who was the first one killed in a battle to save the kingdom of Gallowmere from the evil sorcerer and general bastard Zarok, who is now back and has unleashed all kinds of unspeakable evil across the land. So Sir Daniel is resurrected and given the chance to redeem himself so he can finally earn his spot in the fabled Hall of Heroes. As soon as you press start, you'll see that the game looks fantastic. It's got a great art style and all of the characters and enemies have loads of personality to them. Sir Daniel himself suffers from not having a lower jaw, so he can only mumble, but you always know what he's on about, and he's got a surprising amount of expression on his bony face. The environments have the same amount of love put into them too, with clear inspiration from Tim Burton. As to the characters, there's a great variety in the levels too. Starting of course in a graveyard, you'll make your way through the likes of zombie infested towns, underwater caverns, haunted forests, and even an undead pirate ship. There's always something new on each stage, which are all filled with their own enemies and bosses, as well as a fantastic soundtrack that sounds like something straight out of Danny Elfman's locker. In fact, sometimes Sir Daniel gets so fond of the levels he's in that he gets stuck on them, literally, though I have a feeling that's not meant to happen. It's just that getting stuck in or on the scenery is so common that it often feels like a feature rather than what it really is, a disgusting unwanted bug. The levels themselves aren't particularly big, but they are fun. You always have an objective and you'll need to find keys and solve simple puzzles to complete them. Also, make sure you defeat any enemies that you see in the levels. Beat a certain amount on each level and you'll fill a magic chalice which is hidden somewhere on the level. Find the chalice and you'll visit the Hall of Heroes where you'll be given new weapons or health upgrades, which you'll definitely need. You'll need to revisit all of the levels a few times if you want to unlock everything that the game has to offer, especially as the only real new addition here are some lost souls which you'll find near the end of the game, who ask you to help put them to rest by going back to previous levels and completing side quests. And once you've helped all the lost souls, you get to unlock the PS1 version of Medievil, which is always a welcome bonus. What doesn't help here though is the camera, which is usually functional at best, and it didn't get the upgrade it needed in the remake process. You have very limited control of the camera, and each level has sections that have a fixed perspective, but you don't get any warning that it's going to change, so it can be very jarring, especially as the controls change to accommodate the new view. And speaking of the controls, they did need some more attention. Arguably, the remake's controls are almost identical to the original game, meaning that it brings over a lot of the problems with it. So Daniel has a strange momentum when he runs that can make precision jumping tough, especially coupled with the dodgy camera, and the combat in the game really needed some work. As mentioned, you get a few different weapons to play as, like swords, axes, a bow and arrow, and even some magic. But combat boils down to hammering one button until you or the enemy dies. There's little to no enemy knockback here, which means that if an enemy is in the middle of attacking, you can't interrupt them, so you either have to hope they die before the animation finishes, or that you have enough health to take the hit. When you're fighting multiple enemies, you end up just running in circles, hammering the button and hoping for the best. It's a real shame and became more annoying than fun in quite a few instances. With that being said though, it's still a really fun game that keeps you coming back to it. Other than the Lost Souls, there isn't really anything new here, and it's disappointing that Medieval 2 isn't anywhere to be seen, which is surprising as Crash and Spyro both included 3 games. Overall though, it is a very faithful remaster, which is a good and a bad thing, as it does bring a lot of the flaws over from the original. However, it has so much charm and the game is a lot of fun to play, and also it's just great to look at. It is worth checking out. Now all that's really left for me to say is thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to 2 Guys 1 Game. We also have a podcast which you can find wherever you get your podcasts, including Spotify. And why not check out my Instagram? I've got over 400 reviews of modern and retro games. Just search for The Reviews Brothers. And we'll see you next time.